Hi, I'm Captain Mike, and today we are going to talk about inexpensive silicone molds. These things are probably the best thing since sliced white bread. Everybody needs to have a lot of these laying around for various reasons. The most obvious would be to use the different things that you can mold in projects. I keep them around mainly to put extra resin in when I'm doing a larger project and I have a little resin left. I like these little molds to put the excess resin in. The majority of these molds came from China, and they're very inexpensive. I never pay over about $4 for one of these things, with the normal price on these pink ones being approximately no more than $2, usually under $2, and that includes shipping. In the past, I have made the molds that I use the most often. I make myself, and I make it out of this RTV rubber, and they're larger ones. If you get the larger molds on eBay, and most of these are bought on eBay, some on Amazon, but most of them on eBay, you're going to pay dearly for the larger ones. And so let me just kind of explain the materials that these things are made out of. The least expensive ones are these pink ones, and I do not know what kind of silicone it is, but it is very, very flexible. It doesn't tear easily. I've never torn one, but I'm sure you could. These all come from China, or at least I purchased them from a dealer in China. That's where they all are shipped from. This one, of course, is a little koi, and I'm fond of koi. It is a great, has great detail on it, as do all of these molds. The detail is great on them. The gray mold, it's just the color is only different. My little Tinkerbell here, it feels the same. The color is just different. All of the pink ones, this gray one, they have come out with a kind of a dull matte finish. They don't come out shiny, but that's okay. That's okay. If you want a shiny finish, I have found that this whitish, clearish, whatever you want to call it, material, you can look at it and see that the inside is a lot shinier, so we can get a little light reflecting off of it. Maybe not. Yeah, there you go. It will make a very, very shiny casting. Feels the same as far as flexibility, but it does cast shiny. The other one that casts shiny is this mold here that I did buy at Hobby Lobby. I don't know whether it's American made. I tried looking the company up and couldn't get no further than the information that was on the Hobby Lobby sticker, but it casts nice and shiny. And we'll come back to this in a minute, because I want to tell you something about the casting in these. And the last one that will cast shiny, and I worried about this. I wanted one of these pyramid molds, and I said, that's going to be a pain in the rear if you have to polish it, because I have a one that casts glass, and you have to polish it. The glass will not cast shiny in it. This material will cast a shiny pyramid. And it was a little bit more pricey. I don't know. I might have paid $3 for it. If it's important, I can look it up. You can look it up on eBay. But it does do a very nice pyramid casting. You could encapsulate something inside of this resin if you wanted to. This was the first mold that I bought years and years ago. This silicone is tough. I don't know what it is, but it got me started making silicone molds. And again, it casts kind of a matte finish. Can't find this one anymore. I've looked for scarabs like this on eBay and different places. Can't find them. It seems that anything with an Egyptian motif gets extremely expensive. I don't know why, but it seems like it does. I found this little neat thing here, and it was a little pricier. I might have paid $4 or $5 for it, but I wanted to. I just wanted to see what it looked like. It looked like little Egyptian coins of some sort. They're not coins, of course, but they 4 different kinds, and they cast up great. I just wanted that one personally, so I ordered it and I paid for it. The other material that it comes in was this. It's an ice crate cube, I think. The best I can tell. It would work better. It's a 2-part mold, and you have to be very careful when you put it together because it seems like it does not want to meet real tight inside. And there's a lot of flash. We'll talk about flash in a minute, but there's a lot of flash around these you have to trim off. But other than that, it makes a great little skull cast. And I've got several projects that I want to use for this, and it works great. But it's kind of a rubber feeling material, but it's silicone of some sort. But I think it's for making ice cubes. Keep that in mind. And it's the same with this one. This is a tough, it's flexible, but it's kind of like the stuff that you'll buy at Walmart those cooking trays, silicone cooking trays. It's about the same thickness. I think it is for ice cubes, and it makes these little Easter Island guys, and makes a great cast. They pop right out. It's easy mold to use. All these molds aren't easy to use. When using these smaller molds, there's a couple of things that you have to be totally aware of, especially when you're using these. These are the little roses, and when you pull them up on eBay, they're going to be like $1 something shipped, and you're going to say to yourself, wow, man, I got to have one of them. They come very small. I have not found a big one yet. I'm sure somebody makes them, but I haven't found one. They make these little tiny worthless things. To me, they're worthless, but I've got one. It's extremely hard to get the resin to go down in each little piece right in here on the outside leaves. You have to work at it. Make sure if you buy one of these molds and you cast resin with it, use a very slow curing resin where you can poke it around the edges. Get you a barbecue stick, or not a barbecue, bamboo skewer, and just work it. You're going to have to work it to make sure you get resin everywhere. If you don't, they're going to look crappy. It is the same. These flowers are a little better, but it's the same. It is the same. They kind of tend to want to have bad places on outside leaves. The flatter molds, like my little Tinkerbell, they do very well because there's not a lot of really deep recesses. The Dragon is one of my favorites. I've used it on several projects, and it casts up very well, and you don't have a lot of flash, but it makes a great mold. As does the little Death Head. That's what is the Death Head Festival that's celebrated in Mexico. Y'all know more about that than I do. Fish works great. The owls work great. The pandas are hard to get. They end up being more expensive. I do not know why. It might be a Chinese cultural thing where they can't export anything with a panda on it without being ridiculously high. But I had to have a panda for one of my granddaughters, so I bought this little panda. It does cast up well, but it's awfully small. Make a nice necklace, that's about it. The sea turtle is great. It works really, really good. And with that, we'll get to flash. I had mentioned it. Flash is what you get when you over pour your resin into these. If you're in a hurry and you're sloppy like I am, you'll over pour it and you get this flash. Now, you're going to get some. Even the best of you will get a little flash. And of course, I use an X-Acto knife to trim it off. But a tip is, trim your flash as soon as you unmold it, before it starts to get hard. All these resins, if they set up a little while, a day or two, 3, they get harder and they become brittle and harder to, if you have a thicker pour, harder to get off. This particular resin right here cures extremely fast. I did it so I'd have it. You can see it pops, but it's very brittle. And you'll pop them, and then you have to trim the flash off with your X-Acto knife or whatever you choose to use, and you can just scrape it along the edge like that. The thin stuff comes right on off just like that. You know, it doesn't. It's not hard to get off. The thicker stuff, yeah, you're going to have to take the knife and go down the edge and cut it, and then come back and scrape it. But that's flash. Now, the most worthless molds, to me, y'all please understand, you have a use for them, they're not worthless. I have no use for these, but I wanted to see what they look like, so I bought them. These things on eBay just look fantastic. They look like they're going to be this size or something, but they're not. They're tiny, tiny, tiny. I bought 4 of these molds. This one is all faceted. This one is all round. Some of them are oval, but they're smooth. And then I bought the geometric shaped ones. And I bought these that are a combination. They're faceted too, but they're geometric faceted. And they're just too small. They're too small for me to do anything with. But just remember that when you're looking at this stuff on eBay, when it tells you what size something is, they're usually talking about the size of the mold, not the product that you're going to produce. So make sure you ask the supplier that. Send them an email before you buy it, a message on eBay, and say how big is the actual resin cast product. And most of the time they'll tell you. These people are very, very good communicators. And I have yet to have one that did not get back to me, regardless of the product that I bought. So they will, and they'll tell you how big something is. And then you'll have an idea of whether you can really use it or not. The other thing I like to mention about these molds is I'm not sure, but I think that they are originally, or were originally, before resins got popular, they were used for that candy-like cake coating, fondant or whatever it's called, I don't know. You mash it down and it makes a nice little impression, and you put it on cakes and pastries and things. I think that's what they were basically for, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm sure some of these were for resins specifically because they're so shiny, but pretty much that's it. There's no maintenance on these things. You don't have to coat them with any kind of a release. They're pretty durable. I have yet to tear one up, and that's pretty much it. I advise you, it's fun. Get on eBay and pull up silicone molds and just look. It's one thing you can do in the evenings when you're tired, and just go through, and to find one you like, drop it on your wish list on eBay. Go back, decide whether you want it or not. And it takes a while for them to get here. Some of them will get here in a week to 10 days. Some of them will take a month. It just depends. But I'm never in a hurry to get them. And I think that everybody ought to order these up. I can't make these as cheap as I get them from China. So give them a try. If you have any questions about any of this, give me a shout at the messages below, and just say, hey, Captain Mike, I need to know so-and-so. And if I know it, I'll tell you. If I don't know it, and I can try to duplicate whatever you're asking, I'll do that too. So that's my little video on silicone mold, inexpensive silicone molds. And I hope you get you a few and give them a try. Let me know how they come out. If you like this video, hit like, and remember to subscribe to my channel. All right, folks, I'm Captain Mike. That's my video for today, and I'm out of here.